Hello and welcome to Create a Life You Love with Sarah Shakespeare. It's been a few weeks since I've been on air and I've had about an 8-week hiatus as I've been traveling and getting lots of different things done. So really happy to be back here this evening. And tonight I'm going to be the guest. I get lots of questions asked very frequently about different things in my history of fitness, my history of life, and everything that I talk about and help people with. I get asked a lot of questions very often. So I thought since I'd had this time off, coming back onto the air tonight, it would be the perfect time to be able to go through lots of different things about me if you don't know them. So anyway, my name's Sarah Shakespeare. As you can hear, I'm English, but I live in Canada. I moved here in the year 2000. So I've been here 17 years now. And I call it my millennium move. Very happy to have moved to Canada. I've really created a great life here for myself and my family, and I love it. So I've been here for a long time, but still sound as though I'm in England. So when I get to travel through different areas of my life, people always think I'm on holiday somewhere else. So I feel like I'm on staycation in very many different areas. My show name, Create a Life You Love, I was asked to do the show and then put a name behind it. And without hesitation, I picked Create a Life You Love. Because for me, I wanted to be able to have a show where when I was broadcasting, anybody on the other side of that could really listen and concentrate and make notes and think, okay, what am I doing to help me create a life you love? I believe everybody's life is different in what they believe is amazing. So just because someone thinks something is amazing, you might look into their life and think, well, actually, I don't feel as though that is everything that I want to do. So I believe that everybody can create a life that they love. So that's why, without hesitation, that had to be the name. So every guest that I have on the show with the listener in mind will always help you create a life that you love. So for me, I've been in the health and fitness industry for the last 25 years. And when I went into the fitness industry way at the beginning, nobody knew what a personal trainer was. So back in 1992, when I started doing my training for that, nobody knew. They asked me, do you get paid to help people exercise? And you get, to help people create life goals, and you get to help people with nutrition. And yes, I did. So my background to that, as a teenager growing up here, I was very much into sports. So I loved running. I loved track and field. Anything that was fast and, competitive, I would want to do. And I was a really great runner at school. And I won all of the 100-meter sprints, the 4x400 meters. So I was really good at sprinting. So I had a really athletic mind. And then when I was, older, kind of going towards leaving school, I went through a big weight loss in grade 11. Although I was very sporty, I did have some extra weight on me. So I actually got into the gym when I was around 15, about 15 years old, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. But on the education side of things, I was really into computers, and I was going to go into a job in finance and do everything towards a bank. But I realised that really my life was to go towards something fitness orientated, because that's where I really enjoyed being. So when I was 16, I did go into a bank for about a month, and I have to say I found it quite boring. So luckily, I got a wake-up call very early on before I decided to go down the road of making that my career. So I did have that opportunity to, be within that environment, and I didn't like it. So when I joined a gym, I liked it, and I looked around. I was interested in everything. I had got amazing results from being within the gym environment. I'd learned about nutrition, I learned about fitness, and I liked it. So I found myself, even as a member, before it was my job, I found myself just as a young girl here, walking around the gym, talking to people about everything regarding fitness. And I had an opportunity with the gym that I went to on a regular basis. I had an opportunity from the fellow that owned the gym in starting me off with my training and paying for my initial training to get going. And on the premise that I would work at that gym when I'd got qualified. And I did, and I loved it. So for me, I have been doing something that I love right from the beginning. So when I talk to people about creating a life that they love, I really feel like I've been able to do that from the beginning. So that's, my beliefs and my dedication to fitness have been because everything that I kind of put my mind to fitness-wise has worked for me. I've learned a lot about nutrition, and I've learned a lot about fitness goals and how to help people reach those goals. And I believe going through these years of helping people, it's just been so satisfying for me to be able to look at different lives that I've helped change based on health and fitness and listening to them, coaching them and going through different things. So my big belief is that you have to practice what you preach. So if you're, going to be a trainer and you're going to help people, I do believe that you have to live that lifestyle. Because I don't know if people are going to trust in you and believe in you and do as you ask if you're not doing it yourself. So for me, I've been very, very much into fitness right from the beginning. Now, I think when you're a trainer, I think you've got to have a very, very positive outlook on life, because we're helping people put things together, for longevity, to live a long life, to feel healthy, to feel confident. So I want to share with you how I've got such a positive outlook on life. I've been asked by many, many people, especially in the last couple of years since I've been on social media, I would say, why are you so happy? Why do you look on the bright side of life? How is that easy for you? I have to say that I've been trained that way right from a little girl. So from the age of 5, I have realised that it's been an absolute blessing on my parents' part that they made me believe that anything was possible. And we lived in a poorer area of town, but I remember having this most fabulous life because we were very, very happy in our home. We always had a lot of food. My dad worked really hard. My mum was at home with us. But we had a lot of attention, and it was just amazing. So when I look back at that time, there's a saying that I heard recently, you were so poor that you didn't know you were poor. And I hadn't heard that before. I was like, wow, that's so true, because we didn't know any different, but we had this great resources of having a great life. And I know that my dad in particular gave me such confidence in myself as a young girl in achieving everything. And because we were raised in England, and my dad was from Jamaica, he always reminded us just of how privileged we were to have the life that we had, to have the education that we were given, and just to have these great amenities around us that weren't in Jamaica that we had on an everyday basis. So my positive attitude was definitely instilled into me from a very, very early age. And I thought that everybody had that instilled to them. So when I went to school and people were sad at school or people looked on the negative side of things, I couldn't understand it because I had not been, raised that way. I've been raised with a very, very loving, positive outlook. So I went through my life thinking that that's how it was. When I was around 11 years old, I went to a different school that happened to be out of my catchment area from where I was raised. And going to that school really changed my own mindset, my own ambition, my urge to succeed, really changed by being in a different environment. Like I said, I lived in the poor area of town, and I would ride my bike for 45 minutes up to the other area of town. And that's where I was educated throughout my high school years. And I have to say, I didn't ever feel jealous of being in that environment. I went to these beautiful homes. I went past wonderful cars. I went into the families that went on holiday and did all these fabulous things. But I never felt jealous of that. I just felt such gratitude for being part of that and being made to feel so welcome. And I think that's from me having such a positive attitude about everything. And I don't remember ever being jealous about anything. I just remember being happy that I'd been invited to do something. So that's what I did from the ages of, definitely 11 to 16. I really, really managed to sculpt how I wanted to be in my adult life. So even from a young age, I wanted to do something different. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to have a life that, was of not struggling. I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to be around people. I'm a big, big people person. And if you know me in my own life, you know that you could catch me talking to strangers. Like, when you say to me, stranger danger, there's no such thing as stranger danger, I guess, as an adult for me. I talk to everybody and I'm able to connect with so many different people. And I think from having, doing the coaching and the personal training and everything that I've been doing, throughout my life, it's just been great that I'm a people person, because through meeting different people, I have so much to say to them and they share so much back. So I know I've got so many people's stories in my head. I feel like I've got this big vault that I've got all these different life stories in, and they're safely hidden in the top there. And I feel such gratitude that people have shared so much with me and been able to, feel that trust in me, because I do love to talk, as you can tell. And I do love to talk. I do love to know about people's stories and how I can help them and what that means for them to share that with me. My own fitness journey, I've been into fitness for a long time, as I said earlier, and I love to run. And what I started to do in my 20s, I started to do marathons. I did a couple of 10K races and thought, I can do more than this. And I went on to do some half marathons. And then I thought, okay, this is good. I can do a bit more of this. And then I went to full marathons. And then I went into ultra marathons. So the reason I share that with you as well is that, you have to have so much motivation and mental strength and planning, coordination of your day, and just that willpower to train for something big. And I know for me, training people to do that, I know I really, really had to be able to do that for myself as well. I don't think that if you can't motivate yourself as a coach and a trainer, I don't know if you can then in turn motivate other people. I do believe, though, that coaches need coaches, but we will talk about that later on in the show. So I got into marathons and ultra marathons, and I met the most amazing people from finding something. I'm a big believer that you have to find something that you love to do in your spare time, or some big goals that you've got. Be around people that share the same mentality of what you're doing. So when I had to do training runs that were 5 hours long, and people in other areas of my life would say, oh my goodness, that's so long. It didn't matter, because the people I was running with were also going to run for 5 hours in a practice run. So just when you get within that group of people that really understand and have the same goals, whether it's doing ultra marathons and thinking big on your goals, or whether it's in your life plan or your family plans, getting that support system around you is so, so important. So that's a big thing that I always push, towards people. Throughout my 20s as well as getting into marathons, I also got into fitness competitions. Because I was into weight training, I was into fitness classes, cycling, running, the whole sports of everything. I love the interesting fact that you could just walk on stage in high heels and a dress and a bikini and just spin around, do your turns and walk back off. So that part of the competition for me was fun. So I managed throughout I guess towards my late 20s is when I did fitness competitions, and I ended up gaining my pro card in fitness, which is the highest amount, the highest award really that you can get within the fitness industry. And you have to bring your A game, definitely, because it's so hard to get that pro card at such a high level. So you have to, when you're on stage, when you're putting your dance routines together, when you're putting your posing routines together, your nutrition, your training on the running up to the day has to be so on point, because you're also against other people that are almost always as dedicated as you are. So when you're within your normal gym environment, you stand out as being someone that's dead dedicated, and you're at the gym 6 days a week and your food is on and you're eating out of Ziploc boxes. But when you get to a competition, you're not the only girl that's bringing her food with her, who's been to the gym twice a day for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. You're just in your element in a way, because now you're in company of people that really understand what you've been doing, but it also becomes very competitive and it becomes a competition. So to win at a high level is very, very difficult. And those of you that do shows, that what it's like backstage to be there. It's a great atmosphere, but it's also like A game day. Got to bring your A game to make a big difference on that day. So I have got my pro card in figure, and I did fitness model as well as my other division that I did. So kept it to the real feminine side of things as well. And I loved it. And I stepped out of doing competitions, I would probably say about 10 years ago now, mainly because my goals were accomplished. I'd accomplished everything I wanted to do in fitness competitions. And at that point, I had my third child who's now 10, and I didn't feel the need to go back into that. So once I'd reached my goals, I'm very, very good at setting a new lot of goals. So I did that. I wanted to get my pro card. I wanted to run ultra marathons. And my longest ultra marathon that I've done is 100K. I've also done a 50-mile one as well. That was a big one that I did in Montana. And there's a series of runs that I'd like to do that's called the Lost Soul, which is in Alberta in Canada. And there's a 50K, 100K, and 100-mile. And I have done the 50K, the 100K, and I haven't done the 100-mile. So definitely on my bucket list is the 100-mile. I don't know